Hello, all players and viewers. Welcome to the 72nd Khelo Chess India team battle. It's around 3 minutes remaining, and we already have few comments from Saksham. Saksham, I'll come to your comments. Just give me some time. I'm just trying to set up few things over here just to get stream in a smooth and the best possible way. Meanwhile, guys, you are free to ask your questions, any queries that you have. And Saksham, I can see a comment from you. You want to start your own YouTube channel? Yes, that's the best thing that you can do right now. You have some time with you and you can make some difference in the field of chess. And yes, of course, you can take interviews. If you want to speak to me, we can have a plan because my schedule is very, very much tight right now. I'm not able to even get sufficient time for my sleep and my work and my dinner and my lunch. So I'm not sure when we will be able to talk, but yeah, we can talk in the incoming times very soon. Nothing to worry about that. I'll give some time for you. Okay, all viewers. So just 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. Just put your IDs in the comment section. I will analyze your game. Saksham, I can see your ID and Indian Tal. So I'll do your analysis of your games and uh, okay, nothing in the chat room. Chat room, I think it's, yeah. Abhishek Srivastav says, please analysis of my game. Sure, Abhishek, we will do it for you. And before your request came, Abhishek, the team total teams were full, so we could not uh, add your team to today's tournament. So apologies for that. And we have around 50 seconds now. So in 50 seconds, the tournament will start. Then we will starting the game analysis and the discussions, different topics that we can cover today. Okay, so 20 seconds remaining, guys. Let's start. And I will be picking up few games. I will be picking up the games which were first requested. So we have a request here from Abhishek Srivastav to pick up the game, and we also have a request from Indian Tal. He is Saksham, so we'll be taking their games first, and then we'll be moving on to the top boards who are playing and creating superb games on the in the tournament. Yes, so the tournament has begun. Let's try to find an Indian Tal. Okay, let's check Indian Tal's game. So Indian Tal is playing against GST Guna. GST Guna is from the Chennai Chess Club, and this is actually the Queen's Indian defense: D4, Knight F6, Knight F3, E6, C4, and B6. This I think is called as Queen's Indian defense. The idea is to put the bishop on B7, control the E4 square as much as possible. Sometimes D5 is also played here, and sometimes bishop b4, queen e7, castles, pawn d6, knight d7, bishop b7, pawn c5. Such plans are being used, or d6, queen e7, and e5 are also being used. Okay, so okay, I think, yeah, my voice is there, but the board is not visible. I understand. Okay, I think the board must be visible now. Sorry, guys. Sorry for this. Thanks, Aksham. And I think the screen must be visible now. Okay, so okay, so this is the, yeah, so this is a tournament. This is a game going on between Indian Tal and the GST Guna again. Sorry for not sharing the board. I was just starting soon. Screen was there. So just so this is the right position, and then we have knight c3 here, bishop b7, pawn to e3, bishop b4, bishop d3, castles, square castles, and bishop takes c3, b takes c3, and pawn to d6, rook to e1, knight to e4. Now this pawn to this e4 is controlled in the correct way by black here. So probably there are some moves like knight d2 and pawn f3 which can be played. And we have queen c2. We are putting pressure on this knight, and we have f5. This is another way to put some pressure on the increase the control on the e4 square. So now nice way to play. And then we have pawn to h3, knight to d7, and knight to h2, and f3 is being prepared now. So that's live position, and black has to make sure that he is able to handle the f3 move. This knight has a good square probably on g5 or this f6. Yeah, so the f3 is there now. And knight can also go to the g3 square. G3 also is a nice square for this knight. Probably this will be followed by this queen f2 move, or it will try to attack this knight once or twice. But again, we have the moves like queen h5, and I think that should be fine. Yeah, now rook f6 and rook g6 can be the plan. Rook f6 and just put the rook on g6, threaten this knight takes h3. Get your queen in the game on g5 or h4. Try to increase the attack, and we already have this bishop nicely lined up on this f3 square. So I think rook f6 is expected now. Rook f6 and rook to g6. It would be interesting to see what the an Indian dal who is Saksham will play here. So interesting plans, guys. So White also has this e4 move which he should try to play, because that would put some pressure again on the f5. It will shut down this diagonal, and it will also create some chances of bishop takes g5. Yeah, the e4 is immediately played. So this move is going to make some difference now, because this is a dangerous move for black. If f takes e5 happens, then again this rook can become a very strong piece in the e file. Given that e6 is a backward and a weak pawn, if it comes on f5, that's fine. But uh, if it stays on the e6, it's going to be the backward and the vulnerable pawn. I think pawn takes pawn is playable now. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. Okay, so pawn takes pawn can be answered by knight takes h3, because it is a check to king, and the queen can be captured as this pawn is pinned. So it's a nice tactic right now from the black. So white immediately tries to uh, eliminate this knight, dangerous knight on g5 by playing bishop takes g5. This is how you should eliminate your opponent's attacking pieces. And meanwhile, I can see a hi from Dark Devil Dev. Hi Dev, hope you are doing fine and safe at home from the coronavirus. And thanks for compliments. And yeah, thanks for the okay, thanks for the 1,000 subscribers. Yes, I hope so. We reach the 1,000 value very soon here. So thanks for the compliments, Dark Devil Dev. It's good to have you back. Okay, so rook to e2 has been played now, and we have rook to f8. So all pieces coming into the game right now. This sometime this e takes f5 is going to be played. Okay, I can see a comment from Raj Mathur. I am firebolt. Okay, Raj Mathur, I'll remember your name. I have already done, I think, and few of your games I have already analyzed in the past. But yeah, I'll try to pick a few games today as well. At least one game from you today, Raj Mathur. So just stay tuned. If you're playing today, of course. If you're playing today, I'll just try to get your game. So this is nicely poised, guys. This game is nicely poised, and this knight on g4. Knight on g4. Okay, Raj. So we still have to reach 1,000 subscribers. We haven't yet reached, but Dave is just trying to congratulate us in advance to achieve the 1,000 subscribers. So still a long way to go. 1,000 subscribers is not a short route, or it's not a short journey. We have to work hard. We have to put all our efforts to make sure that we are providing the best entertainment and best in chess right now on this channel. Okay, Raj, no problem. If you're not playing, we'll try to get your game in the next live broadcast, probably tomorrow. And rook takes e4 is played here. Rook takes e4, rook takes e4. We have the c3. Yeah, this knight is still supporting. I think e5 can be captured now. So this check is available. This check, and queen takes c3. If this knight is not there on d5, then the c3 pawn will be hanging. And now that's on. This queen c1, queen takes c3. So probably pawn takes pawn, or white has to open up some way. Okay, so there is a comment from Dave. How to excel in chess, bro? I have just joined chess class before the lockdown, but I can't. Please suggest me something. Okay, so Dave, for improving chess, of course, classes are good. Okay, but it's not mandatory to have the class. Okay, you can do online practice, and you can have a good schedule with you, which will help you to improve your game. If I was hanging right now, so I'll come back to your point, Dave. Just it's a difficult, not difficult, but a pressure situation for both the players. So I just wanted to focus on the commentary, and I think G6 should be played now just to make sure there are no pawns hanging in this pressure situations. So Dave, just answering your question, there we have recently published two of the interviews with the international masters. One is with the international master Arjun Kalyan, and the second is from Bachna Moshvili. He's from Georgia. Is Georgian women's team's champion, and there is a mate on G2 now. Okay, so how will White defend it? A rook sacrifice, and I think that will help Black to win now very easily. Yep, check, and I think just few moves now. Queen F4 check. Yeah. So we had published couple of interviews, Mr. Dev, and in that both the interviews, both the IMs have told us that you have to analyze your game every game after you play. Okay, may it be a win or a loss, doesn't matter, but you have to. Oh, there is a queen check and the rook is gone. Okay, not yet gone, but yeah, the queen is supporting the rook. So narrow escape now for black there. So you have to analyze your game no matter what, no matter how the pressure is, how you have fared in the game. Even if you have won the game, just try to analyze your game always. That will help you to improve in your openings, at least in the middle games. And then you have to make sure that you practice at least 3 hours per day if you want to be a professional chess player. Minimum 3 hours per day has to be practiced. 3 hours has to be divided into your opening study, into your middle game study, and into your end game study. So fantastic checkmate by black here. Let's go back to tournament now. So that is how you have to plan, Mr. Dev. And how many times should I play? So if you have 1 hour of study time every day, I will suggest you play for 20 minutes, analyze the game for 20 minutes, and solve the problems or solve the puzzles for remaining 20 minutes. So thanks, Saksham. Great analysis, sir. Always welcome. And let me check now Abhishek's game. Abhishek has requested us to analyze his game. So let's try to get Abhishek's game here. Abhishek is playing against Abhi1912. Okay, and let's go to the opening. Let's see what happened here. Abhi is playing from Khelo Chess India, and again Abhi1912 is playing from Gujarat Lions. Both are Abhis. So e4 c5, knight f3 d6, bishop c4, knight c6, d4, c takes, knight takes, pawn to e6, knight takes c6. This is actually the move which you should not be in hurry to play here, because this makes life easy for black out there, because after this b takes c6, this rook b8 becomes very strong in the b file, and there are a lot of combinations which come on the queen side then. So unless you know why you're playing this, don't play this knight takes c6 move. Okay, just try to maintain the knight on the center and try to castle, probably then play f4 f5. This knight would be controlling all these critical squares. Okay, so knight takes c6 is not the best move, and meanwhile I can have a comment. And one more thing, my brother don't want to play with me, so from whom I should play? You have to play online, Dev. You can play online on leeches. You can play a lot of games on leeches. There are a lot of tools that you are available for free on leeches. You can check my videos, Dev, if you have some time. Just take around 10-20 minutes and check my videos. I have made around 5 to 6 videos on leeches, how you can start playing, how you can analyze your game on leeches. And there are a lot of features that you can use on leeches. Not just on leeches, I have also made videos on the blindfold chess application, endgames application, how you can use all this. There are a lot of free stuff available, and it's just that you have to use that free stuff. You don't know how to use the free stuff, that is the problem. And for people to know how to use it, I have made those videos, so you can check those videos. It will help you to at least start your own coaching without requirement of any coach. So knight f6, bishop g5, bishop e7, and knight c3, castles, and we have queen to a4. Queen takes a4, knight takes a4, and rook to d8. So right now, actually, things are pretty okay for both the players. This rook b8 and rook c8 will be a bit stronger because they both have the targets now. Rook e1 is not useful because it's being this pawn chain is very strong. It's not, there are no weaknesses right now. Meanwhile, this rook b1, b8, and rook c8 can create some weaknesses over here in this c and b files. Okay, so knight to c3, then rook to c8, pawn to a4, pawn to d4, and knight to b5. Now a7 pawn was hanging here. Okay, black won the game. That's good. Let's go to the position. Yeah, so this queens were off the board. Yeah, this was the position. So knight to b5. So this a7 pawn is now hanging, but black plays h6, attacking the bishop. So bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, and knight takes a7. Now this will be slightly in favor of white, but somewhere white actually goofed up and he gave up this passer pawns probably. Let's check. Rook takes c2, pawn to b4, pawn to d3, and this rook is hanging. There was a discovered attack by this bishop on this rook, so that was missed actually, and that's the reason why probably white lost here. So if you just keep couple of moves back, white point of view, that is Abhishek's point of view, Abhishek, you have to be very much alert about all the attacks that are possible, the discovered attack and everything that is possible on the board. You should not get distracted by this pawn or any other attack. Even though if you feel if you have any attack on the board, make sure that you are aware of what else is happening on the board actually. And I can see hi from Sahil, but hi Sahil, I can see your comment. I hope you're doing well, safe and sound at your home. And there is one comment from Dave also. uh, okay, so just give me some time to let me finish this game. I'll come to your comment. So pawn to d3, you should not miss this kind of attacks, guys. Whenever you're playing, this bishop is already attacking this rook, so pawn d3 is going to be very lethal for you if you ignore this attack. So immediately this you should have taken some action. Probably you should have played rook d1 or some move which would have helped you to save this rook. Okay, probably rook a3 was also possible, but then d2 would have been very much stronger. So rook d1 I think was the only move. On d2 would have been played, and then probably you could have brought back your knight into the game, or at least f3 or something that can help. G3, king g2, f3, rook f2, try to attack this pawn on d2. So somewhere you have to find a solution for this. And then we have rook d1, bishop takes, rook takes, and pawn d2, and then it's game over for white. Okay, let's go back to tournament, and we have taken two requests to okay, so chess player 91 has asked us to take the analysis. So let's check chess player 91's game. Meanwhile, Dev, I can see your comment. I play better without any line of chess match of me are fine, but some are not. Okay, Dev, I'm not able to understand, but probably you are saying that without studying or without focusing more on the opening, you're able to play better. That's what I can feel from your comment. So probably yes, you can feel good. That the first point is you should enjoy chess. Okay, you should enjoy chess as much as possible. If you are not able to enjoy chess, if you are not able to enjoy what's happening on the board, the sacrifices and the combinations, then there is no point in playing chess if you are not able to enjoy the chess. So yes, if you feel that if you play better without any chess opening study, of course you can do that. But if you want to play professionally, then you have to study chess. You have to study all the lines, opening lines, and try to be perfect as you can. So the next question is, what is your rating, sir? So my classical rating is 2048, and my blitz rating is 2035. Okay, that's my rating. You can check my FIDE profile. My name is Amay Sawan, and I'll just give the link in the comment section. You can just Google Amateur One FIDE rating and you will get all the details. So this is a Scandinavian game which is going on between the Gujarat Lions, Kotai Star, and we have chess player 91. Chess player 91 has requested us to analyze his game. So chess player is playing from black side, e4, d5, e takes d5, queen takes d5, knight f3, bishop g4, bishop e2, knight f6, pawn to d4, knight to c6, pawn c3, pawn e6, bishop to f4. Now the c7 pawn is hanging out here. So bishop d6 challenging the bishop, but I think here c4 move was probably possible. C4. So sometimes this queen gets itself trapped actually. No, it's not trapped. It can go to this square, but it generally it's not the best position right now for this queen. For example, if we would have played c4, the queen is under attack. Queen can go to a5, give a check to king, or queen can go to h5, try to save itself. If queen goes to h5, then h3 is possible. If bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, and we have queen again under attack, and that should be fine position for white. And if c4, queen goes to a5, then we probably have bishop d2 forced, which would be replied by queen to b6, trying to attack this b2 pawn, and then bishop c3 would be an okay move for. But queen b6 can be replied with the c5 move. So queen a5 check, bishop d2, and then queen has to come to h5 to save itself. So in Scandinavian, generally c6 pawn is played, wherein you can just go queen a5 and come back to c7. That is the route for this queen. But right now, as a knight is on c6, pawn is on c7, white should have played c4 and tried to harass this queen on the d5 square. There is no good square for this queen to go right now. Okay, so yeah, that's what you should not lose your opportunities. And your exchange was not desirable because now it's okay for black. Black has achieved his opening. Just castling is pending now, and both the rooks can be taken into the c file. Then a3, a6, b5, b4 can be played. Try to create some weakness on the c3 pawn and try to attack on the queen side. That can be played here. So actually, that's the bishop takes d6 move was not good. C4 should have been played here. Okay, let's move ahead now. So castles, and we have castles. So meanwhile, I'm just sharing my FIDE profile in the chat section, guys. All those who have interest, they can check my profile. I have pasted in the comment section. Okay, Mr. Ferris says hi. Hello, Mr. Ferris. Good to see you back. Hope you are doing well. And yes, I sir, I got your point, and sir, your rating is really awesome. Thank you, Mr. Dev. You can check the profile. I have pasted the profile there. So castles, and now we have knight to d2, and then we have rook to e8, bishop to d3. Bishop d3 is actually very nice here. Sometime if okay, we have got the game is over. Let us go to the position that we were analyzing. And yeah, bishop d3 is an awesome move here. It's a very nice. Sometimes if this knight moves, then this bishop takes. Right now it's not possible, but this queen and this knight are not there. Then bishop takes h7 is possible. Bishop takes h7, king takes h7, knight g5, and then we have queen takes g4 move. So right now the queen is supporting this g5 square, and knight is supporting this h7 square. So that combination is not possible. But you always have to keep looking out for this such moves. Pawn to e5, so a break in the center, trying to just destroy the white's pawn structure here. And pawn to b4, pawn to e4. There is a fork. I think this fork is something that white missed here. So this fork, just let us go back a couple of moves. Pawn takes, and here I think hmm, knight g4 could have been played, but pawn to e4 is coming anyways. Probably queen c2, or no, sorry, this e4 is non-stoppable. E4 is going to come without any uh, without any issues. This knight is supporting queen. All else we could have had this bishop takes h7, king takes h7, and queen takes queen uh, combination. So the next question is from Dev. How many years are you playing from, sir? So I'm almost playing from last probably 25 or 26 years. Not less, more than that. But 25 to 26 years I've been playing, last 26 years. So I started in about when I was about 10 years old. Not very early as compared to what guys start learning now. So pawn to b5, attacking this knight on c6, and then we have knight to a5, queen to a4. So either of these pieces are hanging, and this knight is also hanging. So pawn takes knight is the right move, and rook to d1. And here actually black could have played queen to g5, because now there is a mate on g2. If queen g5, okay, there is a mate on g2, so white is forced to push the pawn to g3, and once the pawn is pushed to g3, black can just play b6 and save the knight. So black would be simple piece up. Okay, so that's something for you, chess underscore player 91. That's a simple technique that you should have put your queen on g5. G5. This is probably the place where you blundered. Queen to g5 should have been played here. It is a winning move for you because there is a mate. So for saving the mate, pawn g3 will be played, and you can just play b6, save the knight. Next move, knight can come to b7 and knight can go to c5, and there would be a very happy ending for you then, a winning ending for black. So that's, I think, queen d8 was blunder because of bishop takes h7, king takes h7, and rook takes rook, and queen takes knight. Then we had pawn takes pawn, king takes pawn, and the struggle began thereafter. Yeah, that's where the black resigned. Let's go back to tournament now and try to see if there are any other requests. So no request as of now. Okay, and no request in the comment section also. So let's pick up the top games now. We have top game played between KV, Pubby, and uh, Kotai Star. Okay, so KV, Pubby, and Kotai Star. We have this game going on between. We have KV Papi from Khelo Chess India and Kotai Star from Gujarat Lions. So e3, c6, d4, d6, c4, g6, knight f3, bishop g7, knight c3, knight f6, pawn to b3, castles, bishop b2, bishop g4. So this is kind of a d4 opening, a queen's gambit opening with the king's Indian setup, but the bishop has been developed to b2 instead of the natural squares of g5 or f4 or bishop e3. In Samish, we see bishop coming to e3. In other variations, we can see bishop g5. So avoiding all that, white is just trying to play a different line of different setup here of putting the bishop on b2. And at the same time, black has to launch some kind of attack in the center by playing e5. Probably knight d7 and e5 can be played here to create some chances in the center. So bishop e2 was played. So Mr. Dev, you're asking how can you search interviews? So interviews are taken by one of our friends, and you can just go to the video section. You can just click on my channel name and go to the video section. There you will find all the videos for all the videos that we have uploaded till now, and there you can see the IM's Bachna Moshvili's interview and I am Arjun Kalyan's interview. So just click on the videos link. I'll give you the link, don't worry. You can just click on this. Just click on this. Okay, so black resigned in this one, but let's check what happened in the game. Okay, so this was a setup and we were discussing about getting an e5 break for black. So pawn to h3, bishop takes f3, rook to e8, castles and e5. Yeah, so e5 is there. As we discussed, the break is there now. And we have rook to b1 just supporting this bishop so that there won't be any tactics by this g7 bishop on this b2 bishop. So we have pawn to e4 attacking the bishop. Bishop goes to e2 and d5. So look at this pawn structure, guys. Pawn chain rather. It is like a reverse French defense. It's like a reverse French defense wherein white has played an advanced variation, right? But in this case, this bishop is misplaced. This bishop should have been on c8. This pawn should have been on b2, and queen would should have been on b3, so that this queen from b3 can attack this d5 pawn by playing c takes d5, c takes d5, and queen can also attack the b2 pawn. Okay, so b7 pawn, not b2 pawn. So this is the strategy. This is the wrong setup. This pawn b3 and bishop to b2. This bishop should have been on c1, pawn on b2, and queen on b3. Okay, so c takes d5, c takes d5, bishop to b5, pawn to a6, bishop takes d7, queen takes d7, and rook to c1. Rook to c8, we have knight a5. Knight has this beautiful squares actually, these two c5 and b6 as outposts. So rook takes, and rook c8, queen d2, queen to b5. We have rook to c1, rook takes, queen takes, and now queen to c6, queen takes c6. The exchange was done here, so it's a completely minor piece ending. Okay, so bishop to f8, bishop takes a5, bishop takes a5, pawn takes a5, pawn takes c5, and I think this is winning for white now. This should be a winning win for white now. Oh, okay. I think this was missed actually. Black should have captured the bishop. If black captures the bishop, then c takes b6 and king d8, king c8, king b7 is sufficient to win now. King takes b7, king takes b6, and king takes. It's a simple win for black thereafter because black has the extra pawn. So just count the number of moves. Okay, knight takes b6, c takes b6, and now black has to play. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and white would be having 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So after white reaches here, Black can just play king to c6, and then king has to come back to, either king has to go to e5 or come back to the c3 square. Then king can come to simply to c5 square and try to control the opposition and try to win then. Right, so this is a chance missed by black. So just Kotai star, you can just note this down if you are listening or if you are watching this sometime in the future, that knight takes b6 should have been played here. Okay, so we have a comment from a question from Mr. Ferris. Are you a full-time chess coach? No, Mr. Ferris, I'm not a full-time chess coach. I am a software engineer. I work from Monday to Friday for the software company, and later in the night, just after my work is done, I do the live commentary every day. And on Saturday, Sunday, I teach chess, and I am also a farmer. I do part-time farming and a lot of other things that I do whenever I get time. So, not a full-time coach, but yes, I wish to become a full-time coach sometime in the future. Let's see if possible. If I get rid of all my financial stress, I can probably become a full-time chess coach. So knight to e5, pawn to c6, and this should be winning for white now very easily. Pawn to b6, king to c8, pawn to c7, king to b7, king to h2, knight to b6, knight to d6. Trying to just stop this passes, but this king is just now going to march towards the center and capture this d5 pawn without any problem. So that's what king has started now. It started its journey, and the pawns are locked. Pawn should not have been locked there. Pawn should have been, actually pawn should have been free there. Yeah, so d5 is now captured, and here the black resigns. So let's go back to a tournament now, guys. Try to pick up the next game. So I hope, Mr. Ferris, it answers your question. Okay, so we have analyzed chess players' game, Abhishek Srivastav's game, and we have also analyzed Saksham's game. Now we are trying to pick up few top games. Let's try to find out who all are playing from Khelo Chess India right now. Still 30 minutes to go. Khelo Chess India are in good form today, playing very well. We have few new players coming in. Shivam Gupta is playing, Rodrigam is playing, we have Plavit and we have Indian Tal, we also have Shubham Soni playing, we also have Akigist and Mr. Green, KV Pabhi, all are playing right now. And then we have, let's check who all the other players are playing. Let's try to pick up one of the games here. So let's try to go on the next page. Kaushal Vyas, Parik. We have Sravana. Let's try to pick up Sravana's game. Sravana is Aditya Srivastav is online. Hi, Aditya. Aditya Srivastav is a very good friend of ours. And right now, Saravana is playing against Amiral Kadi. Amiral Kadi is from Gujarat Lions and Saravana is from Chennai Chess Club. So, Aditya, hi, hope you are doing well, safe and sound there. So, Aditya, I live in suburbs of Mumbai, one of the small towns which is called as Ambernath. So, e4, d6, this is called as a pug defense, and we have pawn to d4, pawn to c6, knight to f3, knight to d7, pawn to c3, pawn to e5, pawn bishop to d3, knight f6, castles, and we have pawn to g6. This is the proper modern defense, you can say, wherein g6 is played sometimes first, and d6 is played, knight d7 and pawn e5 is played, so that you can just challenge the center in the simplest way. This is like playing e4 e5, but with the idea of playing g6 bishop g7 and not giving the setup what white wants against e4 e5. So white is confused here. Okay, so pawn to h3, bishop to g7, bishop to e3, and castles, knight to d2, rook to e8, and rook to e1, pawn to d5. Pawn to d5 is a brave move here, guys, because after pawn to d5, there's an open game. Any pawn can be exchanged in the center. We have e takes d5 possible, we have d takes e4 possible, and both the players have to choose their moves correctly. For example, pawn to d5, white has chosen pawn takes e5. What if pawn takes d5 would have been played? If pawn takes d5, then pawn to e4 is playable. There is a fork to both the pieces, and even if you play knight takes e4, knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, rook takes e4, you will end up losing a piece. So e takes d5 was not a good move there. So you have to just make sure that you're not allowing any tactics or threats that your opponent will be happy about. So just take this pawn, d takes e5, knight takes e5, and now knight takes e5, rook takes e5, and now bishop d4. So this is called as gaining a tempo. That is, you get some move or some something in the game which will help you in the long run. Now look at this rook. Rook to e5 was played, but this bishop immediately got onto the d4 square, attacked this rook, and d4 square is better for this bishop as compared to the e3 bishop e3 square, because from d4 it has some very good attack on the king side. Of course, from e3 also it had, but the tactics were not possible. Here white can also try to play e5 here, so that with the help of this bishop and rook, this pawn will be safe on e5 and this knight will be harassed a bit. So bishop d4 is a nice move, gaining a tempo. Rook goes back to the e8 square, and now we have pawn to e5, knight to d7, and pawn to f4. Now just these two pawns are fixated on f4 and e5. We have pawn to c5, bishop f2, pawn to b6, queen to f3, bishop to b7, and rook to d1, queen to c7, queen to g4, knight to f8, knight to f3, and knight to e6. So this maneuver is also a nice maneuver, just making sure. Okay, so white has won this one, and we were here somewhere. Yeah, and I was explaining this knight's maneuver. So this knight was on d7. Here, this is a passive knight. There is no scope for this knight. Now you have to, if you're playing from black side, you have to imagine which is the best square for that knight right now. So in my opinion, the best square is e6. Of course, e6 or even c6 can be an okay square wherein it can help the d4 push, pawn push. But of course, from e6 also you can help in the pawn push. So to get your knight here, you have to find the best possible way and the quickest way to get the knight on e6, that is knight f8 and knight e6, and then play pawn to d4. So this is called as the maneuvering of your pieces. IMR, improve, maneuver, and regroup. That is one of the techniques that we teach our students in our in the middle game sessions. That is a primary techniques to be taught to all the students out there. It is called as IMR. You have to remember this, guys. IMR is improve, maneuver, and regroup. It means that you have to improve the position of the piece which is not doing much at this time. So you are improving the knight's position, okay, by using the technique of maneuvering. That is maneuver your knight. That is maneuvering is the specific movement of your piece. That is right now it is f8 and e6. And regroups means to form a new team or to form a new group which can help you to attack. So after this knight comes to e6, probably these two pawns, this knight and this bishop somehow is trying to put pressure on the d4 square. So it will be a new group which will help this black to progress in the game. So knight f8, knight to f3, knight to e6, and pawn to f5. So knight went back to d6. So this is not probably the way black must have expected the game to go ahead, because this again, the right now we have just developed the knight and it is being harassed by this pawn. Okay, so probably not the best way to play. And what if pawn takes f5 would have been played? Then bishop takes f5 or queen takes f5 was possible. This h7 pawn would have been attacked, and knight f8 could have been played to support this h7 pawn. So the checkmate was not possible on h7. So for example, g takes f5, queen takes f5, and knight to f8. h7 pawn is now defended by the knight, and now e5 pawn will be in question because bishop will be attacking, king, queen will be attacking, and rook will be attacking. So e5 is going to be the target in the white's camp for black. So it could be playable. Of course, we are afraid always to open up our castle and to expose our king. But right now, I think it could have been played. There's one more problem, but actually, if g takes f5, queen takes f5, knight f8, we have knight g5 coming very soon, and probably h6 will have to be played then. So anyways, knight d8 was played in the game, and then we have pawn to f6, shutting down the bishop completely on g7. So bishop f8, knight g5, and now this h7 pawn I think will be the dangerous place for to get a check and mate. So knight e6, knight came back to f3. Was there any other move out there? Knight takes h7, king takes h7, queen h5 check, queen h5, king g8. Pawn cannot capture because the pawn will be pinned by this bishop. But there is nothing thereafter. This queen is alone there. There is no one who can help the queen to deliver a check and mate. So probably knight right move there. Bring the knight back to f3, and then we have rook to d8, pawn to h4, pawn to h5, queen to g3, supporting the e5 pawn, and now pawn to d4. Finally, this knight came to d6, e6 square, and it supported this d4 break, as I explained before. So bishop takes g6, a sham sacrifice here. F takes g6, queen takes g6 check, and we have king h8, pawn to f7, and then there is a checkmate on g8 square. So how can it be defended? knight g7, and we have queen to h6, check and mate. So this was a good move, guys. This f7 move, and of course this bishop takes g6 was also interesting. Bishop takes g6, f takes g6, queen takes g6, king h8. Probably this is the position where knight g7 should have been played, because then f7 is not possible. Yeah, I think knight g7 could be played here. Knight g7, and there is we need to find out how white can continue the attack now. But knight g7 is a very nice move. The next move, queen to f7, can be played to challenge this queen. Yep. We also have this bishop takes f3 move. J takes f3 after knight g7, of course. Yeah, knight g7 was the better move, because after king h8, f7 is allowed and game is over. So this is not how the game should have been played. Okay, anyways, let's go back to tournament now and try to find the next game for all of you guys. Let's try to find a game between okay. Okay, we have some reporting going on here. All the players, if you feel that your opponent is cheating, you just have to report it to the leeches, and you can give the link of the game where you found that the player was actually cheating. Okay, thanks Aditya for the compliments. And let's try to find next game. Let's try to pick up a game from Khelo Chess India's players. Okay, Akigist is leading right now. Let's try to find out this game, Akigist. So we have a game between these two players, d4, d5, knight f3, bishop to f5, bishop f4, pawn to e6, pawn to e3, pawn to a6, pawn to c4, pawn to c6. So this is a very nice Slav setup which we have right now. So d4, c4 is a queen's gambit, and this pawn structures is for the Slav pawn structure with pawn to a6. Sometimes pawn takes and bishop takes and b5 can be played. So that's why the e6 is played generally in the game. So we have queen b3 attacking this pawn on b7. We have queen d7, and now the natural square of this knight is gone. So this knight is going to be struggling to come out and have a good life for the remaining part of its game. So we have pawn to c5, pawn to f6, knight to c3, pawn to h5, bishop to e2, pawn to g5, bishop to g3, and pawn to a5. So somehow this knight is trying to create some kind of play for itself. So bishop takes this exchange, I think, was not necessary. Okay, this exchange was not necessary actually. Yeah, because after knight a6, you can just play pawn to e3, and there is nothing that this knight can go. Knight cannot go to c7 because of queen takes b7. Knight cannot go to b8 because that's where it came from. So this knight was harmless knight which should not be captured by this bishop. Bishop could have been kept on g3, and of course, but there is this threat of h4 which is coming very soon. So hence that is a reason probably why this bishop was exchanged. But avoid h3 can be played here. H3 probably g5 is what white is afraid of. But h takes g5, bishop takes g5, and we are absolutely fine. We can have knight e5, f takes e5, bishop takes e5. If h takes e5, we have rook takes rook available. So nothing to worry about there. I think, yeah, just we could have played even now actually pawn to h4 can be played, or pawn to h3. That should be fine. Okay, so bishop takes knight, rook takes, and we have queen to a4, bishop to e7, queen takes a5, bishop king to f7. Okay, interesting. Long castles. So white is taking a lot of chances, because now this b6 or rook b8, rook 8 will be possible after knight h6, and there would be some attack on this castled king then. So knight h6, pawn to h3, rook e8, and we have queen b6, bishop d6, queen b3, sorry, bishop d8, queen b3, bishop c7, knight to d2, and we have bishop to g6, pawn to g4. Now white is trying to attack on the king side. So we have pawn to h4, queen takes b7. That is a risky move, guys, because this rook b8 will just trap the queen. This move actually is not advisable. Queen takes b7. It was no way playable actually. That's not required as of now. Queen takes b7. Okay, you could have just tried to play f4 or something like rook f1 and pawn to f4. Try to open the king side as early as possible. So But anyways, queen takes b7 was played, which is not recommended right now. And we have rook to b8 thereafter, and queen takes b8, bishop takes b8, knight b3, and I think just we'll check few moves, and I think after that we can just go back and check the next game. Okay, so pawn takes and pawn to g5, rook to f3, and yep, I think this should be over quickly now. This is live position, guys. Still the game is going on. White is defending at its best. Can white survive this one under time pressure? Let me quickly have a sip of water, guys. I'll be back in few seconds. So I'm back. So this is the game for black now. Let's go back to the tournament, and we have Gujarat Lions right now 117 points, followed by Prayagraj 112, a close competition for first place. Then we have Chennai Chess Club, a good amount of difference, and then we have follow up by Chess Blasters and Khelo Chess India. The position, third place position, is going neck to neck, guys. We have beat Mindano with a lot of difference. Then we have Golden Castle Kids Chess Academy. This is a new team that we have today, Kids Chess Academy. And Team Future is again the team which we have regularly. Kings of 64, we have only 4 players playing today. We need to get more players. Okay, and then let's pick up the next game, guys. Let's pick up the game between Kagwa Master and Beat Mindano Chess Prodigy. Andre is playing from Beat Mindano. Andre is again, I think, the leader of the Beat Mindano. So knight d4, knight f6, bishop f4, g6, knight c3. Interesting idea. I think e4 will be played very soon. So this game is going to get converted into a perk defense game. But no, white is not pushing pawn to e4. He is rather going for the bishop exchange and then to push h4, h5. Yeah, h4 is now started. King takes and knight g4. Queen comes back to d2 and pawn to h5. So now this pawn is fixated, and it would be difficult to get this castle broken unless we have something like knight h2, pawn f3, and pawn g4. This castle cannot be broken very easily. So we have castles, pawn e5, pawn to e4, and pawn to c6, knight to g5, queen to f6, and now pawn to f3. This is what actually I was saying. Pawn f3 and pawn g4 has to be played to get a good attack and open up the castle there. So we have pawn takes d4, knight to b1, and knight to e3. So this knight is nicely placed now on this e3 square, and rook to d1, knight to e5, rook takes e3, f takes e3, d takes e3, queen takes e3. So exchange sacrifice by white here. Okay, so bishop to e6, and we have knight to c3. This is live position, guys. So I think white is going to lose this one because white is already playing in the berserk mode, and he has lost the exchange, and I don't think there is any better way for white to attack. So initial few moves wherein after bishop takes g7, knight g4 was played. That is the moment where actually the game turned into black's favor. I'll go back to that position and I'll explain how the fortunes turned at that moment. Okay, probably f5 is now playable. Pawn to f5. No, f5 was not playable because this e pawn was pinned actually. So bishop e2, this knight is hanging. There is no one to support the black's queen out there to deliver a mate. It's a lone piece out there, lone wolf. b3 is also not working because of just pawn to c3 will be sufficient. I'm just wondering if this knight c3 and knight anywhere can be played just to get some play. So I think 11 seconds, 10 seconds is not sufficient to get a win from this position. I think f5 will be played by white now, very soon. Yep, 8 seconds. Can white win in 8 seconds? I don't think so. And the queens are exchanged now. Queen takes queen, knight takes queen, and pawn takes bishop. Yep, 1 second remaining, and I think that should be the game for black now. Black will win this one on time. It's just because white was playing in the berserk mode and he gave away the exchange. That's why he end up knight e6 check is still available for the fork, but f5 pawn would fall by king takes f5. Yeah, I think rook takes h6 is simply winning now. Look at the time, guys. Zero point 0.7. How many moves can you make in 0.7 seconds? One move. Okay, one move was done. Two moves. Three moves. Okay, just zero point 0.7 seconds. Fourth move in zero point 0.7 seconds. Of course, this is all pre-moves, but still, we are just counting. This is fun, guys. Five moves in zero point 0.7 seconds. Six moves in zero point 0.7 seconds. So seventh move, and now rook c2 check, and I think they should be winning now for black. It's a mate, but still in the we still have 0.7 seconds remaining with the Kagwa master, and he made around 8 or 10 moves with zero point 0.7 seconds on the board on the clock. Okay, let's go back to the tournament and try to find the next game for us. Okay, okay, so let's try to find a game. Someone from Khelo Chess India in top 10. Let's try to pick up. We saw Wild Frog is playing from Chess Blasters. Let's try to pick up this game. Taigo. Taigo is from Chennai Chess Club. Taigo is playing against Vishal. Vishal is from Chess Blasters. Vishal is from the Gujarat lands. So let's check what happened in the opening. Knight d4, knight f6, c4, pawn to e5. Budapest. After a long, long time, we are able to see this Budapest defense, guys. This is called as Budapest defense, which is sacrificing a pawn on e5 and getting lots and lots of tactics out there. So pawn to e5, and we have pawn to d5, bishop to c5, knight to c3, pawn to d6, and pawn to e4, pawn to c6. So pawn to c6 is another break that you should remember from the black side, guys. Whenever you have this structure of white structure, which is annoying, having a lot of space out there. So just let us come to this. So if yeah, if white or your opponent has this pawn structure, try to break it by playing c6. Okay, try to get some file open, something that you can, that will help you to get some open file or some good attack in this around these pawns. Okay, so c6 is one of the breaks that you can learn from this game. Bishop to d3, we have bishop to g4, pawn to f3, bishop d7, and pawn to a3, pawn to a5, and we have knight e2, pawn to h5, bishop d2, pawn h4, queen c2, knight a6, and castles. Rook to b8. Now the idea would be just to start pushing the pawns on the queen side. We have king b1, pawn to b5, pawn takes, and look at this structure, guys. This rook, both the bishops, knight, all are pointing towards the white's king, and black has no plan. Sorry, white has no plan right now. It's attacking the white's king, and white is right now having no attacking plan. He just has to make sure that he survives this attack of pawn to b4. Okay, so knight to a2, pawn to b4, pawn takes, knight takes, pawn takes. Okay, interesting, because now we have this b3 also coming very soon for attacking this queen, And then there would be control on the a2 square, wherein if queen can come to c7, a7, and a2, it would be a mating threat for white. So we have bishop c4, queen a5, queen to b3. I think this bishop a4 was winning here for, because we have this rook hanging, not hanging, but we can get an exchange over here after bishop a4 and bishop takes d1, and then rook a8 will be stronger because then queen a1 check will be a check and mate, or at least we will be getting a good attack after that. So bishop a4 is something I think black should have played here. He could have won easily after this. Okay, but rook 8 and we have king c2. Okay, so that's the blunder. Now white has blundered here big time. White has given away his queen straight away. So that's not the way actually White should have played. White just went for the trap here. White just castled on the queen side and he straight away gave away the game here. Okay, so let's go back few moves. If not the castles on queen side, what would have White played here? That's the question. Because this bishop is annoying on this c5 square, it won't allow you to castle here on the king side. If you want to castle, you want to castle on the queen side, or look at the opponents. If opponent is king is in center, you may try to keep your king in center for some time at least. And probably b4 was the plan by playing rook b1, pawn b4, pawn takes. Then this bishop could have been harassed a bit by playing move like pawn to c5, d takes c5, b takes c5, bishop takes c5, rook takes b7, and yep, I think that was the way. Or else you can just play knight d1 and bishop e3. Again, go for the king side castle. If black plays pawn to h3, you can just push the pawn. Then again, black would have to move the knight somewhere and try to play f5, f5, f4 for attack. So knight d1, bishop e3 was okay for getting the bishop's exchange, and then going for the castle on the king side. Okay, so that's the game, guys. Let's go back to the tournament and try to pick up the next one. So no new request right now. And okay, who all are playing right now from the individual point of view? Vishal from Gujarat Lions is leading. That's what we just saw the game from. We have Sony Atharva from Chess Blasters versus Gujarat Lions Gulbari. Let's check this game. It has just begun. So let's check what happened here. So d4, d5, e3, c5, c3, knight to c6, and pawn to f4. This is like a reverse Dutch or stone wall. We can say Dutch defense or stone wall. And knight d2, pawn to e6, knight to f3, bishop d6, knight e5. This is live position, guys. Castles, queen to c7, pawn to g4. That might make things easy for white because white will get the open file here, the open g file actually. Now the king can go to h1, knight can go to f3, bishop can come to d2, and rook can come to g1 to attack in the g file. White has this option of playing f takes e6 or even f takes g6. Lot of options there for white right now. F takes g6. White goes for the aggressive option of f takes g6. Interesting to see now what will happen, what will be the black's reply, because if h takes g6 there is a mate, not mate, but queen first f takes e5 and then pawn takes h7. I think black might be able to survive this one without with an extra piece, because this bishop is a dead bishop, and it will take some time for this rook to come in the game. So I think, yeah, black is going to survive this one, guys. Black is going to survive this one. E6 is now hanging. Probably now rook can come to the e8 square and support. But yeah, queen was played, supporting the e7 square, and queen to g6. Bishop d2, and probably rook can come to f1 now. F3 and rook can come to g3, or simply king h1 and rook to g1 can be played. Bishop d2, king h1, and rook to g1 can be played. Queen e8, exchange offered. White should avoid the exchange here. He should just go. Oh, he has exchange. That is actually not helping. Black can just play knight e4 now. This knight takes e4 has to be played. D takes e4, and black would be happy just exchanging the pieces because in game is going to be in black's favor. Knight can now just sit on f5, and there is no plan left for white now. There is no plan, absolutely no plan left for. So queen should have been brought back here to b1, and then white should have tried to play something. So I tried to get this bishop actually in the game. Bishop say d2, bishop e1, bishop h4. Try to create some chances here by saving the queen on the board. If the queen is not there, black is going to be happy because black is already piece up. So if your opponent is piece up, don't try to exchange the pieces unless you find it's winning for you. But instead, you try to build attack with whatever pieces you have. Don't exchange the pieces, guys. Yeah, and that should be the end of h7 pawn, which was trying to hold and create some attack on the black's king side. That probably should end now. We have knight takes e3, rook can come to e2 now. Yeah, pawn takes bishop can come to d4, and now bishop f2. Knight can go to f5. Oh, check. King moves, and knight can go to f5 now. Yep. So bishop takes, knight takes, and we have rook takes pawn. Then knight f3 should win. So there is a mating threat on this g1 square, which I think is not stoppable. Yep. So white resigned here. So probably this f takes g6 move was something that, yeah, this was the position, guys, and wherein bishop takes e5 was played. And here white decided to go for f takes g6, and instead I think there were two other options. Probably just capture the bishop with the f pawn, and other option was to capture the pawn with the f pawn, so that if f takes e6, then knight as well as this bishop are hanging, then either one of the pieces, probably bishop takes f4, would have been played. Then you could have captured the knight here. So that was the way to develop. But of course, white has to make sure that whenever he's going for this setup and this attack, these two pieces are always going to be in the bad position. These three pieces rather, knight, bishop, and this rook. So let's go back to tournaments. Last 40 seconds. I will not pick up the next game. Probably I'll just check the comment section if we have any new questions out there. So no new questions from the viewers out there, and we don't have comments or questions in the chat room. So I think we can just wait for about 20 seconds now and find out the winners out there. So 173 is a very huge score. There is no one who can reach that score in last 15 seconds. So Gujarat Lions are going to be the today's 72nd Khelo Chess India team battle winners. They have won many of our battles in the past, but today they have scored 173, a huge margin between the first and second place. We have Prayagraj Future GMs finishing on 152 points on the second place, unusual, scoring 28 and topping the team. Vishal from Gujarat Lions also topping the team. We have Chennai Chess Club KKMKR on 24, very good points, and we have Chess Blasters on number 4. Wild Frog is on 18, and then we have Khelo Chess India on number 5. 100 points today by Khelo Chess India. Mr. Green on top from Khelo Chess India. We have Beat Mindano Chess Prodigy on 82 points, and then we have Team Future Arjun on 11, 45 points. Golden Castle Chess Club, Chess Kids Academy, and Kings of 64 Squares. And all of the players who have played well, congratulations to you. Congrats to all the winning teams out there, and just a thanks to all the players. Thanks to all for participating. We'll meet again tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. IST. So all the viewers out there, this battle is every day at 9:30 p.m. IST. You can join the WhatsApp group in the comment section, and then you will get the updates for all of these tournaments that we have every day. Not just a team tournament, but we also have many other tournaments that you can play. So all the recording is available here for all the players out there who are listening right now. So you can go there and check the recording. You will be able to find your games to analyze, and uh, probably you can improve by looking at analysis. Congrats, Vishal. Good performance today. Okay, so that's all from the Kilo Chess India today's live broadcast. If you have any questions, I'm still there with you guys. You can ask me right now, and I would be happy to answer your questions. I can still see some viewers are watching, but let me know, guys, if you have any questions. I'm still available, and of course, we will be starting. We have already started a new activity of getting you on the call. You can also join our live broadcast, explain about your life, about your chess career, about your chess experiences, how you started chess, and how you started improving your chess, and what are your future plans. So you can join our live broadcast, and we will be having I will be sharing a Skype ID very soon, which you can Skype call me, and then we can have a discussion live on our broadcast. So if you're interested, just message me in the comment section, or also you can join our WhatsApp group. I am there as admin. You can message me that I want to come on the live broadcast. We will take your call on live broadcast, and we will be showing your live video on this live broadcast also, and we will be discussing about your life, about your experiences, about chess, and everything that you want to tell the world about chess. So that's all, guys, from our side. I think it's already 10:33 in India, and we should stop now. I have to still get my dinner and then sleep and again work tomorrow and get back for you to broadcast live again. So okay, then we'll meet again tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Don't forget to join the live broadcast of Khelo Chess India. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends as much as possible. We still need a lot of your support. 1,000 subscribers is what we have to reach, and we don't have much time with us, so we still need 430 subscribers. So please let your friends know about the channel, ask them to subscribe and like the videos, and join our family of Khelo Chess India. So bye bye. See you tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. sharp. I can see a comment from Triveni Kulkarni. Good. Thank you, Triveni. Thank you very much. If you have any suggestions, any questions, I'm still online. I would be happy to answer your questions about chess. And if you don't know who I am, so I am a rated player, a FIDE rated player, Ahmed Zaman. I am from Maharashtra, Mumbai, and if you want, you can just check my profile. I'm just pasting it in the comment section. If you want, you can check my profile. This is my FIDE profile. And any questions you have, you can definitely ask. There's a link in the description box. Do join our WhatsApp group where you have lots and lots of just things going on every day. So that's it, guys. Good night. Bye bye. And take care until we meet tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. IST.